Hey guys, welcome into the Sportscast year. Your host, Brian. The question of the day is, should the Tush Push be banned? Let's dive into it on the Sportscast with your host, Brian and Craig. Craig, my man, how are you, sir?
Howdy.
All right, well, there's been big talks lately in the NFL about the Tush Push and should it be banned? Craig, what say you? Do you think the Tush Push should be banned? Do you think it's a bad play? Why and why not? And we'll delve into it here
Well,
on
I
the
mean,
Sportscast.
it's not a great play. I mean, you know it's coming, and you really can't stop it. But if you look at it, it's happening not only there, but they've allowed it to happen. If you got a guy that's kind of wrapped up, and there's a pile and everything, and then some lineman comes running in and tries to pick their running back up and carry him another 2 yards. I think all that used to be illegal. You couldn't do that. You couldn't help get your guy further down the field and gain yardage. And I think all that needs to be looked at. And I mean, I think there's other ways if they ban it. I think there's other ways that teams will find to still do the same thing, um, just without maybe doing that exact play. But um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what my guess is. I just don't know why more teams other than the Eagles don't use it. Like, why is it just their type deal?
100%. And that's a question mark, right? I don't think it should be banned either. It's a play. It's just like punishing the Eagles for coming up with a play, practicing a play, and putting it and basically it's almost an automatic play for them. They have like a 92% completion percentage. They've done it like 98 times, where I think the next team has only done it like 10 or 15. So they've done it. They practice it, and they do it at such a high rate. Um, the league the only way to get this ban is, to me, would be for the league to start complaining, and not the league itself, but the coaches and players that, hey, this causes injuries, and I've seen that a lot lately. But the NFL actually just came out and said that they've, through their research, nobody's gotten injured on this play. It's not like this play has um, increased the amount of injuries. So the league, that complaint to the league is not going to get you anywhere. Um, the only way to ban this is to get them to go back to the rule, like you just talked about, where you can't push the pile, you can't get, and that would be the same thing where they would just make it illegal to push the quarterback. Um, but I don't think it's a great play, like an entertaining play. It's automatic play. But I think it's soft for the league to sit here and try and ban it. And I'll tell you 100% straight that they said the team that voted to ban it and brought it out was the Green Bay Packers. And then, to me, that's soft for the Green Bay Packers organization. You don't like it, find a way to beat it. And if you can't beat it, find a way to implement it yourself.
Yeah, and learn how to do it.
Learn how to do it. And it's not all that automatic, because the Bills didn't get it in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes doesn't do it very well. He got injured. They don't QB sneak with Patrick Mahomes. So the Eagles have given you a blueprint on a 1 yard guaranteed get, and no one uses it better than the Eagles. And for the outrage of this team, or the outrage by teams, and saying it's not a football play and it needs to be banned, is absolutely ridiculous, and it's soft, in my opinion.
I mean, not all teams have quarterbacks that can squat 700 pounds and have legs that are tree trunks, and that helps whether anybody's pushing him or not. Like I said, I think even if they ban it, I think Hurts can still get it himself.
Right.
Probably not maybe 92% of the time, but probably at a higher rate than most guys, because he can push the pile himself.
Exactly. And that's why I think it bodes so well for them. That They got a quarterback that uses his legs, and he can squat the same amount as Saquon Barkley and drive the pile. And it's
Right. I think
just
that's why it works so well for them, where it
100%.
doesn't work for some other team. And I think that's why they came up with it. Was they're like, hey, we got a guy that can benefit from this.
100%. So neither of us think it's band worthy. I think it's just, hey, show up and beat it. Find a way to beat it, and don't let the team get into 1 yard situations. I mean, that's really the only way you can kind of beat this thing. But I'm sure Jeff couldn't be on, and I'm sure he doesn't want it banned either. Maybe he does. A lot of people were saying that it's more like watching rugby, but
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's like a rugby scrum.
100%. All right, guys. Well, yeah, breaking news today. Debo Samuel gets traded to the Washington Commanders for a bag of bubble gum, and it's a fifth. They gave up a fifth-round pick. Craig, why wasn't more teams willing to give up a little bit more, or why did they send him to Washington for the fifth? It's pretty interesting.
Um, well, the why you wouldn't give up more is you didn't have to, apparently.
Yeah, well, I mean, apparently it.
But I think it's this guy has got the reputation of really not having the greatest attitude and not having the greatest, like work ethic, and they just gave him the contract, so the contract comes with him. So you're gonna have to pay him a little bit. So that's probably why some more teams aren't in on him, is they don't have the cap space to inherit that contract. And you just don't know what you're getting. I just don't think you know what you're getting if he's willing to do like he was the first few years in San Francisco, where they can use him on jet sweeps and use him out of the backfield and use him in all the wide receiver positions, and he's going to play and he's going to be successful, then yeah, I mean, Washington just stole it.
Stole it.
I just don't know what you're getting. I think is the biggest question. I don't think you know what is this guy. Does he even want? Does he even want to be? In the game. I think San Francisco just got so fed up with the antics and the I won't do this and I won't do that, but you're going to pay me like I do this and I do that. And putting stipulations in the contract that he can't be used as a running back, or can't be used here or there. I mean, I've never seen guys that don't want to be used. Like,
Yeah.
if you're somebody that, like, normally it's like, oh, I get the ball a million times a game because I can play from the backfield, or I can play from the slot, or I can run jet sweeps, or I can, give me all the touches.
Yeah, put the ball in my hands.
Not too many people are like, yeah, we're not doing any of that. I'm just going to go out here and run my route, and he just didn't have a very good season. And I think the what you get is they were so ready to be done with Debo Samuel that they were like, the first offer we get, we're going to take, because we are completely. That just shows you how done they were.
Just a slap in the face to Debo. I guess it feels a little disrespect. He gave me up for a fifth. Every year, the last 3 years, you've heard Samuel trade talks. I think this set him over the edge last year with his injuries, and when healthy, I think I think he's a good football player that could be used multiple ways if willing to. Jeff put out a little short video on this earlier today, and we had a 49er fan get on here and say, farewell. Good luck, Commanders.
Yeah.
I don't want him. He's a diva and all this stuff. I don't know what happened in the locker rooms or behind the scenes there. Maybe Debo goes and gets a little fresh start here. But it's if he goes out and he stays healthy, and this is a huge weapon for the Commanders, and you mix him in with Daniels and this offense, and it looks like the Commanders got better this
100%.
season. for this next year than they were last year. So it's another bold move for the Commanders, and this is kind of a hey, we're going all in type of move. So
and gives them the ability to not have to spend a high draft pick on a wide receiver that can fill another hole
yeah,
that they have now by getting this before the draft and getting it done before the draft. They don't have to go spend a top first or second round pick on a wideout, so you can go get another piece. Um, we said we thought they were playing last year with house money and needed a year, and they had cap space, and they had draft picks, and we thought the next couple of years could be interesting, and this just goes to show you that they obviously agree.
100% with that, 100%, and um, this is how you do it. In a lot of teams, you can't. It's hard to do it this way because you got to find the right quarterback. But you draft a quarterback where you're not paying him $60 million a year, and you go all in when he's playing lights out, and he's very cheap. So that's how you do it. It's hard to do it because you got to find the guy. But once you have him, you better push all the chips to the table. And the Commanders have
Give
have
him
have
three or
done that.
4 years before he comes in and starts asking for money.
Yep. So, um, great move for Debo. Bad news for the NFC East there. Um, I did a little video of this the other day. Matthew Stafford is staying with the Rams. I think this is good news for both sides, Craig. I talked about how um, the options weren't great for Matthew Stafford out other than staying with the Los Angeles Rams. And the talk was the Raiders and the Giants. Well, you're not going there to win now. And Stafford's got, he's got to go to a win now team because the fact that he's not a spring chicken and he doesn't have a whole lot left in the tank. But um, and then the Rams on the other end, if they get rid of Stafford, you're basically in a rebuild, and you're basically hitting the rebuild button. Unless someone gave you a really high draft pick where you drafted your next quarterback and hoped that he was going to pan out. But good move for both sides. I like it for the Rams. McVay staying around. He talked about retirement a couple years ago. He stuck it out with Stafford. I think this brings him back another year, and um, maybe they ride off into the sunset next year. And then, with the 49ers slipping last year, maybe they feel like we'll give it one more run here. Do they bring Cooper Kupp back? All these questions now that because they gave Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford the hey, go out and see if you get some draft picks or see if you can get a deal done. And now that they're bringing Stafford back, maybe they say, hey, Kupp, come in, do a team friendly deal. Let's do a one more run back. So a lot of questions there still, I think, with Cooper Kupp. But with Matthew Stafford, this is a no brainer for him and the organization, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they told him to go out and test the market, and he went out and tested the market, and he went, Giants, Raiders. I'm going to be terrible. I might win 6 games, and I'm only going to make a few bucks, and I'm going to have to uproot my whole family.
Yeah.
It was with all the fires and everything that went on. You could tell that he was a big part of the community, and that he's well liked in the LA community, and I think he was just I think he went out and tried the market and went, yeah, this isn't going to deal. And he came back and went, hey, what can you really give me? And I think the Rams probably adjusted a little bit off the initial offer and gave him a few extra bucks and said, yeah, let's make one more run at this.
Excuse me. Looking at the division, 49ers, Rams, Seattle, and Arizona. No, is Arizona?
Yeah, wide open.
It is wide open. The 49ers have had that dominance there for a while, right? And I don't think Seattle's winning anything, and Arizona's not a good football team. So I really think it does come down between the Rams and Niners. And the Rams surprised me last year. They had, they did way better than I thought they would. McVay's a good head coach. You got Matthew Stafford back. Their tight ends, Higbee's absolute beast. I think honestly, I would like to see him bring Cooper Kupp back for one more ride there. Maybe that happens. Maybe it doesn't.
You wondered if they would have a fall out defensively when they lose Aaron Donald, and they didn't seem to really fall
Mm-mm.
too much off in the pass rush. Um, they were still getting after guys in the playoffs. That first playoff game, they had like
Mm-mm.
7 sacks or 8 sacks. So
Their rookie defensive end, I forget his name, but he had 8.5 sacks
yeah.
his first year.
So I mean, you lose Donald, but you get this guy, and you just kind of go in and still keep going.
Yeah, that's good coaching. That's a good
Yeah,
coaching right there.
yeah,
Um, the draft's coming up here in a couple months. We will have a draft show. Um, I'll do a draft show with Ryan, and we'll always talk about the draft here. I want to do a live draft show
yeah,
that
yeah. We've done
Thursday,
one. We've done one the last couple of years, and it's worked out really well.
live reaction. So
Yeah.
that would be great to
I mean,
do.
last year we were all scratching our heads on the
Penix Jr. pick.
Penix Jr. pick. We're like, what?
What is
Who's
Atlanta
this guy?
doing?
Yeah.
Hey, and look, he looked pretty good this year, I do say. I mean,
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean,
given
given the age and the injury history, and yeah,
he's had some darts, I was like, oh man, okay. And so that's an interesting um position to look forward to next year for the Falcons as quarterback. And where's Kirk Cut? We still have the quarterback carousel. Where's Kirk Cousins going? There's talks between Aaron Rodgers and the New York Giants, and I didn't think Aaron Rodgers could go to a team worse than the Jets, but the Giants are not. Oh my gosh, talk
yeah,
about
the
a
same
downgrade.
stadium.
Same stadium, no offense. I mean, you might as well just retire at that point. What's the point? Um,
I don't think
I
he's
don't know.
getting an
What's the
offer
point?
from. I don't think he's getting an offer from anybody that he's going to be hugely successful. So I think retirement is probably going to be your top option unless you just really want. I don't think he needs the money. I don't think he's going to go anywhere where he's going to turn it around and win.
Well, I talked about it because I missed the show last Saturday. I hear y'all talking about you don't think you think he's done. I disagreed a little bit with that. I had to get on and do a video. Uh, you look at his numbers. You look at the way he finished the season last year. He almost had 4,000 yards. He had 28 touchdowns. Still not bad. I think if he goes to a team that has a lot around, because it's going to take a lot around him now. Um, and my team I want him to go to is Pittsburgh Steelers. He's better than what Russell's going to offer. Fields is just trash. Um, with a defense like that, the weapons they have on offense, with a good head coach, and I said it's got to take the buy-in from Aaron Rodgers as well. He's got to show up to training camp, and he's got to put the buy-in. But I think the biggest question mark there was more of, is Mike Tomlin going to put up with the diva and Aaron Rodgers? And I just don't think that would go too well. And then do you tie your raft to Aaron Rodgers? Because if you make that decision to bring him in and it doesn't work out, you're probably getting fired the next season because of all the talk already about Mike Tomlin and rumors about the questions of, is he going to be fired? Is he not? That type of thing. So I think it would work better there than anywhere else. But for Aaron Rodgers to go to the Giants, a team that is in total disarray, um, it would be pointless. It'd be pointless.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's just like Stafford. I don't. I'm not. It's the same type veteran deal. You don't want to go and win. I don't think Aaron Rodgers wants to go and win 5 or 6 games. I think he wants to make a playoff run and have one more shot at a ring. And if he can't do that, then I think he probably just walks away or should.
Walks away. Yep, 100%. Well, speaking of the draft, Craig, the 2 number 1 quarterbacks in this draft is Cam Ward out of Miami and Shadour Sanders from Colorado. And my question to you is, who do you think is better fit from their college tape to be the better NFL quarterback? And I know a lot of it plays into where they go, but just going off what we've seen from them, not knowing what team they're going to, who do you think is the better fit, and why?
Well, Shadour Sanders is your quote unquote gunslinger. Like he is going to try to run at first notice. He's going to try to make the miraculous throw all the time. Um, just based on talent alone, Cam Ward's a better quarterback. Um, I don't think Shadour Sanders is going to translate to the NFL at all. Um, he's used to playing for his dad. He's used to having free reign. He's used to having, like, I'm the biggest guy in the room, and when you get to the NFL, you're not going to be the biggest guy in the room. And I think the speed of the game, like we've talked about, the biggest jump in any sport from college to pro is football. College football. And you see guys that go up there and just that it just doesn't translate to the Tim Tebow's, and the Tim Tebow is the best, greatest college football quarterback of maybe all time, and goes to the NFL and it doesn't translate. And I don't think Sanders has the greatest work ethic. I don't think he has the most talent. I think Cam Ward is 100 times better than him talent wise. Um, yeah, I just don't think Sanders translates to the NFL. I think he bounces around team to team, has a short career, and is ended up as the kind of the journeyman backup guy, type deal is what I think Shadour Sanders ends up in the NFL. That's just me.
Well, I don't think you're wrong. I think Cam Ward is definitely the better quarterback here. Now, whether he gets picked number one or not seems to be more of a popularity contest, and who's going to get more likes for your team. Um, he's more of your pocket passer. Well, he's got a really good arm. He's
Make all the throws.
make all the throws. I think he's better fit for the NFL. My only problem with Cam Ward is he pulled a really selfish move in the bowl game. He played in the bowl game, which seemed to be great, but after he got his record, he's like, "I'm done. I'm not playing another snap." Throwing the backup. So that seemed a little selfish to me. Um, you know,
Thing is,
just going
the
out
NFL.
just for
The thing in the NFL though, there isn't those kind of
yeah,
deals.
not a lot. And you know, Sanders to me, he's more athletic, but he's that guy, like you said, he's gonna try and run the ball. Um, you know, I think more of it's about his diva mindset.
Right.
When things aren't going his way, he's gonna throw people under the bus. We've seen him do it in Colorado.
Right.
He's not gonna have that um professional demeanor where, hey, we just got to work better, but we got to do these things. We got to do, we have to, um, as a, yeah,
Buy into the cultures. I
right.
don't think he puts in the work and works with the head coach, and I think it's my way, my way, my way, and I don't think that works in the NFL.
Yeah, his leadership skills a good leader takes the blame, right? But he is not one to do that, and he will throw everybody on the bus. Um, I don't think it's going to pan out there too well. Then you're going to have his dad chirping on
Right.
social media.
Right.
It's going to be a nightmare, I think. And I think we 100% agree, both of us on that one.
Saying they're using him wrong, saying they're
Yeah.
I'll come down there and show you how to use him, and
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
being on the sidelines, press pass. I mean, Dion can get into any NFL stadium he wants to. Walks up to the front door and goes, "Hey, I'm coming in." So we'll see what it translates to. Whether Sanders just lets his son go and have his own career, or whether he tries to manipulate it and affect it, and we don't even right now know who has the number one pick. Tennessee's taking offers,
Yeah.
and so we'll see.
Well, this draft this year too is not very heavy. I
No,
mean, there's not a lot of
no,
first round grades, and
that's why he chose to come out now, is because he can get the deal. I was the number one pick in the NFL draft. Well, there wasn't a lot of options, Shadir. You know,
Yeah.
you came out in a year where the quarterback class is probably the weakest it's been in years. I mean, the overall, the whole class. I mean, the other pass rusher
Hmm.
that is supposed to be number one, he's debating on whether to have foot surgery or not, and
He's gonna
whether
drop.
he's going to drop. And you know, there's just not a name that's just going. This guy is the guaranteed clear case number one, you know, pick, and you don't, like I said, you don't even know right now for sure what team's going to have it. It could be or some total random team who doesn't need a quarterback. You know,
Atlanta Falcons taking another one.
you wouldn't think, but last year that was pretty shocking.
um, yeah, it was pretty shocking. All right, we'll do a draft show. I got one lined up with Ryan, probably the beginning of April. And Ryan is this draft guru. He'll give us he has his top. He'll have a top 100 board, and he's told me who Packers picked the last 3 years in a row, and he's been right. And I'm like, how do you do that, man? And it's crazy. But we'll have a draft show with him.
I've already started looking at stuff, so
Yeah, he told me to go. He told me to get on and closer to time, closer to the beginning of April, and do a mock draft to get on these mock draft simulators. And um, it's still a little early to tell. Got to wait till after the combine type thing. But we got the combine. But I mean, other than 40-yard dashes, I don't think anybody's really caring about how much you bench press, and a lot of the quarterbacks don't even throw it anymore. And
when you're thrown against air,
yeah,
you're thrown against air to wide receivers that you have thrown to, you know how fast they are and everything like that. I just don't think it's a solid reference. I don't put much stock into it. I mean, I think every quarterback that's coming out in the draft right now can make all the throws. You know, if JJ McCarthy can get drafted, you know, than anybody, you know. So we'll see. There's some running backs. I'll be interested to see where the kid from Boise State goes, and you know what he does and how high the first running back off the board and everything like that. So we'll see.
I mean, yeah. Do you think someone reaches for him and takes him real high? And you know, we'll see. I think obviously he's the number one running back. I mean, I don't think any running back goes above him.
I wouldn't think, not unless somebody's got some magic tape that we don't see. I mean, he seems to be, you know, but
There's a lot of running backs this draft too that
there is,
you can get on day 3 and
and
still
that's
have a
what I'm
decent.
saying, and that's what I'm saying. So I don't think as my football team. I mean, I know look, the last time the Dallas Cowboys did it with Zeke, it didn't. I mean, yeah, it was good, maybe the first year or two, but it just doesn't. Running backs are kind of the interchangeable deal. You don't see them get second contracts almost anymore. You don't see them get. So why use a high draft pick on somebody that's only going to be with the team in a couple of years and probably we're going to replace him?
Um, man, the chat has been quiet tonight.
Correct.
It's been quiet, unfortunately. If your guys are listening, watching live, come into the chat room, come on YouTube. I also want to tell you guys, eventually, we'll probably do a couple more shows live on Facebook, but we'll probably get rid of that because we need you on YouTube. We need you to show love on YouTube. Come in, like the show, subscribe, and come into the chat room on YouTube, and go from there. But all right, Craig. Well, let's finish off with some baseball talk because baseball is right around the corner. I know it's yours and Jeff's favorite sport. It's my second favorite sport. Um, you're a Giants fan. I'm a Texas Rangers fan. What's got you excited about the Giants this year?
Well, they went and finally got a shortstop. They went and spent a little bit of money on Willie Adames. Maybe for the first time in since a guy named Barry Bonds, somebody will hit 30 homers in a San Francisco uniform. Um, I'm excited to see the pitching staff. I'm excited to see if Logan Webb can bounce back. He really didn't have his ace type year last year where he really led the deal. I'm excited to see what Verlander brings to the table. The talks around camp right now are he's just been huge for the young guys. He's been out working with all the young guys, and um, the Giants have three or four guys that are very very green that pitched a little bit last year, but you know had the guy that got from the Blue Jays that was a reliever, and they turned him into a starter. So come the end of the season, they had him kind of on an innings limit, and we're shutting him down. He should have a full season this year. Um, I still think there might be a late addition. I don't know if it'll be at the start of the season, like before the start of the season, or at a trade deadline. I think they need some more productivity out of first base. They haven't had very much productivity out of first base at all, and right now, uh, their catcher, their backup catcher, gets hurt again. Another huge setback for him. So it looks like maybe the Sam Huff from the that we got from the Rangers, maybe the backup catcher, or maybe some other kid. But I'm trying to look in spring training and see if Bryce Eldridge at some point you're going to see the name Bryce Eldridge come up to the big league, whether it be right away or whether it be later in the season. But he's a stud first baseman, and he's just supposed to light the world on fire. He's had a pretty good start to spring training. We'll see if he can keep fire and maybe make the team. So it'd be interested to see the center fielder Jun Ho Lee to play a full season. He had a horrific shoulder injury running and making a one hell of a catch against the center field wall, but he separated his shoulder doing it. So he missed probably 70, 80 games last year. So be interested to see if they can stay healthy and if they have anything in the tank to give the Dodgers and I mean that division has become brutal again. You got the Dodgers, you got the Padres, you got the Arizona Diamondbacks who are a year removed from being in the World Series. That isn't. There's only one pushover team in there, and that's Colorado, and it appears that they're still going to be a pushover. So, but yeah, it'll be an interesting to see if they beat up on each other and kind of San Francisco and um, San Diego and the Dodgers and Arizona all beat up on each other, and we'll see who wins the division. We'll see who wins the West. How about you? What are you looking at for the Rangers over there?
Well, I think last year was such a disappointing season. We come off winning the World Series the year before. We're kind of riding high. We had a lot of injuries last year. We didn't compete the way we should have, and I mean, Chris Young came out and said it's been an embarrassment, and I hope our players are embarrassed. And I'm hoping that we get back on track. We got a lot of questions still with who's our closer going to be. I really wanted to sign back Kirby Yates, and we let him go to the Dodgers. Unfortunately, he was lights out for us last year. I think a big relying on is a question mark is our health. We got to stay healthy in our rotation. We were so injured last year in our starting five. It was absolutely ridiculous. So we don't have Nathan, or we have Nathan Eovaldi. We don't have Matt Scherzer anymore, but he was injured a lot of it too. And then our bats. Carter's injury was one we didn't foresee coming. Hopefully he's back. He came in his rookie year and let the world on fire and helped us win a World Series. He was huge for us. And then we get his injured back, and hopefully that's not too bad going forward. And they're talking about his longevity not being there, but hopefully we get a couple more years out of him. I'm really surprised we kept Adolis. I mean, he was one of the catalysts that helped us get to the championship. But he was so terrible bad last year at the plate that, man, I was like, we got to get rid of him. We got to trade him. Um, he came out and said he wants to hit 50 home runs this year. I said, how about we focus on just getting better at the plate? I don't need you to hit 50 home runs. I need 50 would be great, but let's focus on playing some good baseball. Um, we got a lot of questions still, but hopefully, hopefully, we turn it around this season and get back to competitive baseball. A lot of people believe we are. Mike Bassick from 105 through the Fan, which his last show is Friday. He is going to be calling the Ranger games, but he said if we go out and get a really good closer, he thinks we could compete. He thinks he's like we win the division, and he thinks we're in the World Series again. So, I mean, this roster is pretty good. So we'll have to wait and see. But I do think we're going to compete for our division. I think the Astros got worse this offseason, and the Mariners are still young, good team, but they never really put it together a lot of times. So, but one thing's for sure, we definitely need to get out there and go to some games this year, Craig.
Well, on a positive note to look forward to, every year the Giants won the World Series. The next year they did not go to the playoffs, and we had an even year, 6-year swing where every other year we'd win the World Series. So so Bochy will get things turned around in a hurry. He did when he got here. You had a rash of injuries last year. You had you were basically a walking wounded unit at for most of
Mm-hmm.
the year. You try to get Scherzer, he gets hurt. You try to get this guy, he gets hurt. And I'll tell you, I read an article the other day that they're talking about Montgomery, coming back. He had some huge success there. He has not had success in Arizona. Arizona's GM has
Oh,
not
talking
been
the most trash about him.
quiet about how he thinks that might be the worst signing of his entire general manager career. So I would think Jordan Montgomery would be either before the season on the block, or maybe definitely at the trade deadline. So I'd watch for that name to maybe return to Texas and see if he can rekindle what he had here, because clearly he likes the pitching coach here and works well with him
Yeah.
together.
And in that year before, last year he didn't practice a whole lot. He missed, because the free agency wasn't moving and there wasn't a lot of offers, and they picked him up. They picked him up really late to close, and he didn't really get to do his normal warm up routine and
Yeah,
spring
same thing
training,
happened to
and
Blake Snell.
yeah,
Blake Snell
and
had no spring training. He cuts out. He's terrible. I mean, he had over a 15 or 18 ERA. Then he goes on the IL and misses a month. But when he came back after that IL stint, he was the Blake Snell of old, and really made a huge comeback. So we'll see.
it's funny because after Arizona's GM came out and was talking so much crap about him, the next day Montgomery opted into his contract, his $24 million.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah.
so
I mean, I would too. If
yeah, be like,
somebody told
oh,
me, like,
okay.
I mean, you want to do that? There you go. You're gonna
R-
pay me.
Ryan says first division title since 2016 for the Rangers incoming. I hope you're right, Ryan. I got some confidence in him this year. The scary part to me about it is we're relying a big part for our number one pitcher in DeGrom's health, and that has been something that you can't rely on.
Right.
So I hope we have contingency plan in case he goes down again. And then I think our bullpen's going to be decent. It's just we got to find that closer.
We'll see if you start getting some help from the two rookies you had on the mound.
Yep.
In
Rocker and
Rocker and
I'm drawing a blank on the other guy, but I have his face. I can picture his face. He didn't do too well. He didn't look ready
Lighter.
at all last year. Yeah.
Rocker and Lighter
Lighter did not look well last year. Rocker
didn't look really great to the start of spring training, so we'll see.
We'll see what pans out. Rocker looked decent last year, but then he had Tommy John, didn't he?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
It was a whole deal with his elbow when he first
came, yeah.
And then they put him back in the draft, and then Texas got him, and Texas thought he was fine, and then he ends up needing Tommy John, and I think they pushed that off 2 years too long. So hopefully there's not any kind of permanent structural damage there.
Rangers are loaded with starting pitching. We added a guy who can close. Jock Peterson in the lineup, going to be huge. Yeah, I like the Jock Peterson pickup. I loved it.
Jock Peterson is a animal.
Yeah.
And I never liked Jock Peterson until he put a San Francisco uniform on. But he is one hell of a ball player, and you should ride that wave deal. And they also pulled somebody. Who'd they sign the other day out of retirement?
What's his face?
Oh, Kevin Pillar.
Yes, Pillar.
I'm telling you, that guy may not be able to hit a ton, but he's a wizard with a glove. That guy played center field. He will run anything down. If he can rekindle some of that and do some of that, you're gonna have two really, really, really high quality outfielders with really good arms.
Yeah, we've got to have our guys that played well our World Series run step back up. Right. Simeon was a terrible leadoff batter last year. He was not. They got him lead off this year. He's got to play better. Jonah Heim disappeared. The bat disappeared this season.
Yep.
This last season completely. So we'll see. I got high hopes for him. We'll see. I hope Carter's healthy, and we'll get into it. One thing before we end the show, and this is coming from Ryan Sims here. It says the Cowboys are up to something. Jerry does do his annual meeting with the media on the bus. He declined to talk to reporters. The last time he was quiet like this, they traded Amari Cooper. So he kind of texted me earlier about, are we about to trade Micah Parsons? Are we? I thought about maybe you've had conversations with Tennessee about trading up for the number one pick.
There was an article the other day that said, "Can Dallas go get it?" I don't see why you would.
You don't see why you would what? Sorry, say it again.
I don't see why you would go to get the number one pick.
Not unless you want to go out and get Travis Hunter, but that's
maybe.
That would be, to me, the only reason, because you don't need a quarterback.
Well, unless you're gonna get rid of Micah to get the number one pick and then draft the kid with the foot injury.
Well, that would be the only way you're getting the number one pick, is you trade Micah Parsons and you draft his replacement.
This year's one, and then I don't know what you'd get. Maybe another one or a couple twos. I don't really know the compensation. But
it'd be quite a bit, unless you're the Dallas Mavericks, so you give them away for.
They were talking about the other day, if Dallas could take and trade Micah for Debo and 2 1s, take the 2 1s and move up in the draft and get somebody, you're a better football team. You're a better football team. Now, would the fan base flip because you traded Micah? Yeah, but you're a better football team if you do that. If you make trades like that. And what I can't understand is you gave up a third for a wide receiver that had no yards, no productivity, and you gave up a third for that guy, and the Commanders just gave up fifth for a proven guy. So what exactly is the front office of the Dallas Cowboys doing? I don't get it.
Well, they've never been good at making trades or business contracts, or that's not their forte. They would get a haul for Micah Parsons, and that would be interesting because that would mean that would mean Dallas sports have lost 2 superstars in the span of 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't think anybody would be bringing coffins to the.
you don't think you'd have that reaction. I think a lot of, Micah Parsons, in my opinion, great player.
Yes.
He gets winded during the end of the year, and he talks a lot on his podcast. Well,
see,
know,
there was a comment the other day that said, "I wish he would just."
Lawrence Taylor said that, right?
Stop doing podcasts and play football.
Just play football. But he's an absolute.
We just lined up and played football.
He's an absolute beast, though. I'd take him in a heartbeat, but
he is. But he was injured, and so we'll see. I see the Packers have made it available for Jair Alexander to be.
Yeah, it looks more likely we're going to cut him. Unfortunately, they both kind of want to part ways. Oh,
I'd take him.
When he's healthy, one of the best there is on the field.
Yeah.
Top 3 quarterback in the league when healthy.
Because guess who's hurt again? Paper mache Diggs.
He said, "Bro, rookie contract's way more valuable. The guy we got $2 million this year. Debo making 21 this year." Is he talking about Mango? Well,
yeah, he's talking about Mingo.
Mingo,
had 4 catches in his whole career.
Mingo's garbage.
I don't care if it's $2 million or not. He had 4 catches his whole life.
He's not good.
Debo,
is good.
He won't even be on the roster. Yes,
I would take that.
That's exactly. It's not even a comparison.
I don't care about the money. That's not my money to figure out. That's the organization's money to figure out.
It's just not even you can't put Jonathan Mingo and Debo Samuel in the same breath. Like, that doesn't make sense.
No. I agree with that 100%.
And you gave up a 3rd for Mingo, and they gave up a 5th for Debo. I mean, I win that argument every day.
Ryan said injured and still at 12 sacks.
Yeah.
He said Debo had 600 yards last year and the year before. Well, last year he was injured, but he still had more yards than Mingo. If we're comparing him to Mingo. I don't know. I'm not making that comparison.
No.
I think Debo, the command, we talked about a little earlier on the show, Ryan, you missed it, but I think Debo to the Commanders, if healthy, is a great weapon for them. And
especially on the other side of McLaurin.
Yeah, but
I think Jaden Daniels keeps him in line, and maybe he's not such a prima donna over there.
Only time will tell. And we always end up getting back into football, which is totally fine. I love football. Well, we're gonna have more football talk. Ryan, thanks for jumping on the comment section. I know you're a big Facebook commenter. I was telling people earlier, I'm only gonna do a couple more Facebook lives. You need to jump onto the show on YouTube, please. Comment there, like the show. I think you're a subscriber. I don't know. If not, please subscribe, Ryan, and help us out. And click that like button. Trying to grow the show. Anyways, all right, guys. Well, Craig, I guess it's that time we ask what's been in your locker, man.
Not a whole lot. Just work today. I'm gonna take tomorrow and just enjoy a day of no alarms and no getting up early in the morning, and got another month of the early shift, so we're gonna navigate through that. And Zach's out driving around on his own, dog sitting for my brother, so went and drove to my brother's and put gas in his own truck today for the first time. So good to see him starting to get out of the house and having his own thing. So other than that, that's about all I got going on. I don't really have a lot. I'm ready for the March Madness. I'm ready for baseball to start, and ready for these hockey playoffs. Hockey's winding down, and Dallas is playing some really good hockey. So trade deadline in a few days might have to come on and post some stuff closer to the hockey deadline, trade deadline. So, other than that, how about you, sir?
Well, just been working a lot. I go to the early shift this next month, which starts on Monday for me. So, sorry, I'm texting Ryan, but not a whole lot. I got a bonus and came in, so I have we're gonna go spend some money tomorrow, and it's always good. We got some things we're gonna buy around the house. I got to get the wife a laptop and get a TV in the girls' room, and so we're gonna have some family time tomorrow. We went to Dallas today. Went to the temple. My daughter had a good time out there. Went out to Bays for dinner. So just trying to spend time with the family, and you know, we get a little crazy busy, and sometimes that goes a little bit on the back burner. But every now and then, when you have some extra money, and just it's nice to be able to spend it on the family a little bit. So I got my tax returns coming in hopefully sooner than later, and gotta figure out what's going on with that. I got an AC guy coming on Monday because apparently my AC is not blowing cold anymore. Hopefully it's just out of Freon, not anything major, but that's never good in Texas. So,
Nope.
$90 just to have the guy come
roof,
out. I'm
I
like,
gotta get my roof replaced before it
that bad, huh?
The rain season.
So fun stuff. But other than that, that's about it, man. We trying to grow the show, keeping up, making videos in between, and just loving and talking sports. So, other than that, that's about it on my end. Hopefully, Jeff will be back on next Saturday, guys. We do a live show every Saturday, talking about the updated sports throughout the week, and we're gonna get more into baseball and hockey. And Craig, when's the playoffs start for hockey?
End of March, start of April.
Awesome. Well, so we're almost there.
You got about 30 games left, 25 games left.
I've been watching a little more Stars since the Four Nations, keeping up more a little bit with them, and they won 6-2 last night. Total dominated last night, 6-2.
Keep an eye on Alex Ovechkin. He's 11 goals from Patson Wayne Gretzky.
That's cool. I think he's only playing to get that, and then I think he's gonna
100%.
step away. So hopefully he gets it. I've always liked Ovechkin, but all right, guys. Well, that's the end of the show. God bless, and we'll see you next week.
See you.
All right, bro. He's already sitting here almost saying Mingo's